From Martine Studios in New York, your trending topic TV show. This is Talking Heads with Nizam.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Talking Heads. I'm your host, Nizam. Today, very special panel for you. We're going to be talking about what is going on in their lives, what they got coming up, and we're going to start with Kendra Porter. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. Talk a little bit about what you got going on.
Absolutely. So I own a company called Honor You, which is a personal image consulting agency, and it really is about helping women across the board and young girls embrace who they are, embrace their skin. And so my motto is honor your shape, honor your size, honor you. And really, for me at this point, it's as we head into the new year, it's looking at people making their resolutions and thinking about the holidays and all of that. So definitely thinking about what are they wearing for, New Year's parties and holiday Christmas parties and all of that. But definitely also talking to people about making their New Year's resolutions and really, kind of sort of setting a tone for not just what they look like on the inside, but also what they look like on the outside, and really making it, pull all together.
Is there a website or a Twitter handle
Yep.
or something like that?
The website is kendraporter.com, and then my company's called Honor You, but our Twitter handle and all of our social media is at Honor Your Style.
Honor Your Style.
Yes.
All right, I like it. All right, also we have Mr. Jay Dewey on the panel. He's got all kinds of fun stuff going on. Jay, what do you got going on?
I wear a bunch of different hats, but during the day I do fundraising for a great local nonprofit called the Hudson Valley Community Services, and we're already prepping for our big event for Westchester for Valentine's Day. It's called Libations and Ovations. It's a deconstructed charity gala, so no more like boring sit around a table all night.
And it's on a Saturday too, so
it's on Valentine's Day falls on a Saturday in 2015. So we're gearing up for that, and so it should be a lot of fun. It's gonna be open bar.
Okay.
All night, DJ music, dancing, silent auction, a whole bunch of stuff going on.
The silent auction, I always love the silent auction. There's always some cool stuff. What kind of items have you guys acquired so far?
We usually get a lot of art, a lot of stuff for the home. We're trying to get some like personal experiences and some stuff for couples, stuff for people who aren't in a couple. And do a lot of fun stuff. And then all the money that we raise goes to help people who have chronic conditions.
Okay.
We do a lot of stuff for people with HIV/AIDS throughout the Hudson Valley.
Nice.
So that's kind of our focus on that.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Jay is newly married. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Congrats.
had to give you a shout out there. All right. We have Mr. D. Wise down at the end of the table, our music man. Talk about what you got going on, brother.
Well, I just recently launched my karaoke brand from Hazel Eyes Entertainment. So now not only do it's DJ, karaoke, and music production.
Oh, nice.
I have 2 projects coming out next year. My debut album, and then I have a covers album that's coming out in the spring for 2015. So
for your debut, do you have a date set yet, or you gonna do that?
No, it's really up in the air. I'm waiting on a sample to be cleared from Sony.
Ah, okay.
Shout out to Sony.
All right. Good luck with that. All right. Hey, you know what? Don't forget, you can always check Talking Heads out on Verizon 45, Cablevision 76 on Friday nights at 8 p.m. You can go to wpcommunitymedia.org and look up Talking Heads, look for this face, and you can check out all the shows, check out the backlogs. We are going to get into my favorite segment of the show. It's called What Are You Watching? We're going to start with Mr. J. Dewey. What are you watching?
So far this fall, I was really into Gotham.
Oh, nice.
I'm not usually a comic book kind of person, but I do love Batman. It's kind of like the only superhero that ever existed, so at least for me.
Yeah.
And I think Gotham's been pretty good so far. It's fun to see them going back to these origin stories and it's kind of retelling the whole thing and working in so many different characters that are there for just a split second.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you kind of go on from there.
I've been watching a little bit of it. How do you feel about how they're portraying Bruce? He's like this like precocious kind of almost like weird. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it actually works because that is basically the Bruce Wayne that becomes Batman.
Yeah.
I kind of wondering why he hasn't been sent off to like a private school.
Yeah,
Right. Maybe that's coming. I don't know.
What? Anything else? Anything else on the tube?
On the tube, lots of still watch all the animated shows. Like Bob's Burgers.
Oh,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
huge favorite.
Animation
in our house.
domination.
Yeah, we love Bob. Especially now they actually made a commitment to doing more like musical numbers. And things like
Okay,
that.
really?
Their writers are fantastic with the little ditties and songs.
I've watched it. I've watched it like once or twice. I'm more of like a Family Guy type dude, but. D, what are you watching on TV, man?
I'm actually watching The Flash.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah,
it was. I was like, I watched the Arrow. I didn't really get into it. I saw the coming attraction for The Flash, and I was like, okay, looks like I remember The Flash from the 1990s.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of Flash, and I was just kind of bored, and I kind of fell asleep.
Yeah.
And then people started talking about it.
Yeah, it's starting to build
talking about it. So I went back and I watched it, and at the end of the first episode, I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Now I gotta see what's going on."
Did you notice that the father
is the old Flash?
Is the old Flash from the 90s? I didn't know.
So
I was looking at the guy. I was like, he looks familiar.
All right, so spoiler. I don't even know if this is a spoiler alert or not, but so obviously that's him running around when his mother died, right? It's either the kid or it might be the dad. I'm thinking. You think it's the dad or no?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, they're taking the origin story and they're making it its own.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Nolan verse of Batman.
I know, right?
They're taking liberties with different
Hopefully it'll be as good, Hopefully it'll be as good. Anything else?
I'm still on my Tosh.0. Still watching.
Tell me you saw the Sports Center thing.
Oh,
hilarious. So Sports Center took one of Tosh.0's segments from his show. So he took one of their and I love sports science too. So ESPN has this sports science segment, and so he stole their segment, and then he did his own version of it, and it was so funny. But I love sports science though, man.
Yeah. No, but. I'm still on that. I'm watching Brickleberry. Bob's Burgers also has come into their own.
Oh, I gotta watch that show.
Yeah, it's come into their own. What is it? Third season now?
Okay.
I think it's like third season. They've really come into their own. The writing department is, they set the base and now they're building upon it. So,
all right. Kendra, what about you? What are you watching?
Okay, so I'm probably the only one that doesn't have a television.
Ooh.
All right, what are you reading?
So I watch everything online, right?
Oh, okay.
You was a Netflixer.
Yeah. So I would say it's probably a toss-up between, like, Scandal is my go-to.
Yes.
And as an entrepreneur, like, I have no time, so at least I can kind of sort of get in and watch it. And then if I'm watching anything else, it's probably like Blue Bloods and The Good Wife. I am big on like police and law shows.
I couldn't get into Blue Bloods. Tom Selleck is my man.
Really?
I like Tom Selleck, but I just I don't know.
To me, it's one of the good family shows.
Yeah. TC and them.
Well, you know what? To me, it's still a good cop show, right? I like Donnie Wahlberg. So it's seeing all those characters, but it's also it's very family oriented. Yeah. So, when you look at what other shows are out there that aren't, sex driven, aren't like necessarily always violence driven. It's a police show, but it's not violence driven. There's a base in family and community, which is really important.
All right. I watch a lot of stuff online. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't have time to. I never catch anything when it's actually on. I'm on demand. I'm on my phone. I'm online. Yeah.
It's the easiest. It's easier.
I don't do DVR anymore because a lot of it's on demand, and they just stock it. So you can miss like 2 or 3 shows, and it's just. I mean, it's there for a time period, but hopefully, and if you don't get it in, then you go to the website or you go find it online somewhere. But speaking of violence, that's a great segue. Let's get into the show. Let's get into these topics a little bit. So Charles Manson is possibly getting married to a 26-year-old girl. Her name is Afton Elaine Burton, a.k.a. Starra. D, how do you feel? How do you feel about Starra and Charles getting married? How do you feel about that?
Everybody needs somebody sometimes. That's all I can say. I mean, the man is in prison. He's going to be there for the rest of his life. He's getting older.
He's 80.
Well, yeah, exactly. So he needs somebody to talk to. He needs a companion, something.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, listen, it's not like she's 26. She has a whole life ahead. He's got about maybe 15, 20 years on him. And then he's going to be, pushing up daisies. I really don't have a problem with it.
What's your thought, Kendra?
You know, right, so prison is what prison is, and there are always, you know, the groupies after the prison inmates, right? So there's all that whole piece of it. But it's, when you read her story, like, she first discovered him when she was 16, you know, moved out.
With it was a charity, some type of environmentalist.
Right, because he did the whole ATWA, or whatever that is, like air, trees, water, something or another.
Yeah.
So that was 16. At 19, she moved out to where he is by the prison to be with. And to me, there's something wrong, hence going back to family, right? With how either she was raised or not raised, or, you know, what she thought of as the norm, so to speak. You know, it's, at 16, you're highly, you know.
Impressionable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, if you don't have people around you that are grounded enough to kind of sort of help you steer you a particular way, at 19, you go off and do your own thing. So, you know.
What about you, Jay?
Well, she's also said that she's had that her first boyfriend was another like a prisoner or like a serial killer. So this is like a pattern. So
was he a serial killer? I know he.
I don't know.
Okay, I know she had a.
He was definitely locked up.
Yeah, he was definitely in prison,
see.
but I don't know if he was another.
But she's also said that this was a good opportunity or a way for her to get more info on his case, that she now has access, or she would have access as his wife, to a lot more details about his case so she can work on getting him free. So that is it? Yeah. So is it a love story? Is it like is it like
is
the
she a
procedural drama?
Oh,
Right,
like,
I don't
you know.
because he also did say when she first said it, or sometime before, he had said, he was like, no. He's like, we're not getting married.
Yeah.
So
He's like, no, that's crazy.
I think it's her, and she's a little loopy, but that's, you know, I'm not judging.
So basically, she was drawn in because she was working with an environmentalist group, and Charles cares. Not about human beings, but about other things. And, you know, she believed him to be, Starver believed him to be innocent of 7 murders, you know, one of them being
he
a
didn't
pregnant.
actually murder anyone.
She believed him to be innocent of 7 murders.
I mean, he did. Listen,
He's in jail.
He's in
12 denials, parole denials.
No, I understand. But let's look at the case in and of itself.
I don't want to look. I don't want to look at the case.
Okay,
I'm not saying he did it. I'm not saying he did it. What I'm saying is, Star believes him to be innocent of 7 murders. That's what he's been accused of, and is incarcerated.
He's guilty because he sent those people to kill those people. Okay. So just like Osama bin Laden maybe didn't pick up and shoot anybody, he was guilty of murdering thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people.
All right. So I don't even. That people are talking about it. We had to talk about it.
Right.
But speaking of impressionable young ladies or young women, we got to talk about the Cosby controversy. This is something that's been going on for decades now,
yes.
30, 40 years. 15 plus women have come out to speak out against Bill Cosby, saying that he's sexually assaulted them, raped. No one wants to see Bill Cosby and rape. I don't know why, but if that's what it is, that's what it is. Jay, let's go to you. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's not true?
I think that we do have to separate the what he's done and his output, his artistic output, from the accusation and the personal. I think if there's this many women that say that he has done this to them, then I mean, until we have to we always try to presume innocent until proven guilty. But I think public sentiment is definitely that if there's this many people saying that he's done these things to them, then it's probably true. And it's certainly the public opinion is swayed against him, where he's had all these cancellations of deals, and now TV Land's not running that anymore.
Netflix is not doing a show. NBC is not doing a show.
So I think it comes down to it's whether you believe these women or not. His public reputation is now tarnished to the point where it has a financial impact on businesses and deals that he's doing. So
I want to touch on that too. But Kendra, how do you feel?
It's again the same thing. You got to separate the two, right? So it's kind of sort of like R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, like looking at someone and their career versus them as a person. And it's unfortunate. It really, truly is unfortunate, because I think we all held him
In a high regard.
In such a high regard.
Mr.
And as
Huxtable.
that family, right, as that family figure, as that person who was the safe, like, go-to person, you know, as an adult. And so, you know, it's a shame. More so than anything else, I feel for Camille, because,
she's got to go through all of it.
She's got to go through all of it, too.
Well, Camille stayed.
Go ahead. Yeah, she did.
She did.
Camille has stayed. I don't know if it's my turn or not.
Yeah, go.
I didn't mean to cut
Jump
you
in,
off.
jump
I'm
in.
sorry. My mother always told me, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Factually, I did a lot of research, and I'm looking at this thing, and I said to myself, 10 years ago, you know, there was a case,
2005,
2004, 2005, where he settled. Now, let's talk about, I'm not talking about these 2 or 3 people that popped up in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
There's 13 original women, the actual person that filed the case, and then 12 other women that came along and said they will testify against him in order to, you know, either send him to jail or there was a civil case. So these people, their voices were not heard, because when he shelled out all that money, all their testimonies went down the drain, because there was a gag order placed on the initial woman who was not raped. She said that she was drugged, and then she started fighting him off, and he left. So she wasn't actually raped. Now, these other 12 women came along and said, well, he did the same thing to me, but there was intercourse involved, and it wasn't consensual. So those 13 original women is just another blow to them. To be a young woman and say that this happened to me as well. There's a lot of women that do not report these things initially when it happens. Knowing people that have been sexually assaulted, they don't come out until years later, a decade later, saying that this person touched me, this person did this to me, or whatever. It feels like it was just another blow to these women that said, well, look at what happened. He puts money on the table, his lawyers get involved, and then all our testimonies go right down the toilet. I know you had touched on R. Kelly. You know, whenever there is a doubt in someone's mind, that's the only thing you need to get off. You know what I mean? And R. Kelly had a history of, he married Aaliyah when she was 16 years old. You know what I mean? There's been flashes of this man going around and, you know, having sexual intercourse with young women. You mentioned Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, okay, he paid out the money. That doesn't necessarily say that he's guilty. But when the second allegation came along, he's like, you know what? I'm not paying anybody out. He was like, I paid out the first time. We're going to take it to trial and let the court do what it does.
Right.
But, you know, Mr. Cosby has done a couple of other things. He paid out $100,000 to a woman that said that he was her father. Paid out $100,000, paid for her schooling, paid for a car, moved her into an apartment. These are things that I find to be very disturbing, because it does paint you out to be a, you know, not a monster, but somebody that's.
Here's my take on the thing. Janice Dickinson, one of the I don't know, higher profile women that that's out, said, I was hanging out with him. He gave me, you know, we were drinking. He gave me a pill. You know, so, and you know, we're talking 13 plus, 15 plus women. Not to I don't want to sound like I'm defending him, but I've hung out with a lot of athletes. I've been in the presence of Michael Jordan several times in the club. I've hung out with Charlotte Hornets, Carolina Panthers. I've hung out with Yankees, and the culture of some of these women is what it is. It's nonchalant. It's laissez-faire. Like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do because this person is who he is. If you're going to Colby's room or Mike Tyson's room at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, what is your expectation of doing that? If you're coming up to flirt with Bill Cosby or Michael Jordan or Scotty Burrell or Matt Geiger or whoever, I've been in situations where I've seen women line up, even in college basketball players, college football players. Girls will sit in an apartment and just hold out.
But there's a difference. There's a distinct difference.
There is a difference. there's a line, and there's a shade of gray in there from, I want to be with this person, I want him to be my man or whatever, to, all right, now I'm getting drugged and I'm being raped or sexually assaulted. There is a line, but there's a gray area in there.
Okay, but all right, so there's always this, like, people like to say there's this gray bit, right? When you look at Janice's story, Janice says that she was sick. He went to go get her some cold pills or whatever, or some pills or whatever, came back, handed it to her, and, she ended up being passed out and so forth. The problem is that she wasn't there because she was like, oh, I want to be with Cosby. She was there because he brought her out there because they had a relationship, not in a
they had a business relationship.
They had a business, right. And so she was like, okay, well, he's a mentor, all of those types of things. So when you do that, I'm like, I've talked to my business mentors and been up at night, and not necessarily alone, but when you start to build those relationships with people that you're in the industry with, you're up at night, you're talking about business, you're talking about all those things, and someone says, oh, here, take this or whatever, you may just be like, oh, okay, if you're sick. Now, granted, if he gave her some other pill for some other reason and they wanted to be on E or like anything like that, I mean, that's on them. But it's still a point where someone has to say, yes, I want to have sex with you, not just I'm in your room and yes, that means I want to have sex with you. Like there's still that line of yes or no, and if someone's screaming to get off, that's not a yes. So
here's my kicker to that, to my whole point, is that maybe there was one or two or three, right? This happens. People talk. Things go on. This is something that's been going on for years with this man. Mm-hmm. So if you're a woman and you're getting involved with him on a business relationship, or if you're getting involved with him on a sexual relationship, or whatever the case may be, there's a precedence that comes before.
Okay. Wait. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because my question is, right, so we hear this big story now, right? And there's been like one or two cases here and there over the years of his career.
No, 13 cases over here.
Well, no, but that have really been out. No, but if you look at, when you're thinking about like the history of it, I don't remember 13 cases growing up watching Cosby.
In public,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
I'm not talking in public though. I'm talking behind the scenes.
Right.
People talk.
Okay.
So if there's sexual assault or rape, or there's things going on, people will know about that stuff.
Not necessarily. Okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But
case in point.
Once you get into double digits.
My third grade teacher was a pedophile. He was a priest, got out of priesthood, and became a elementary school teacher. The social consciousness, everybody said, the clamor and everybody was talking, but they said, no, he's such a nice man. He's so good to these kids. And no, I don't believe it. But what comes out? One kid says that he did it to me, and the statute of limitation was not up. Then you had over 20 kids came along and said, he touched me.
My point is not that Bill Cosby is innocent or that he didn't do it. My thing is that there's always blame on just one end.
Okay.
I feel like there should be blame on the other end.
I'm not saying that. No, what I'm saying is
blame from
maybe blame is not the responsibility is more so what I feel like.
I feel like that this situation has sparked interest and leading to an open conversation about rape and victims, that they need to come forward sooner rather than later, because we have a stigma, especially, I don't want to make it about race, but not even race. Let's go culturally for people that are of lower income or whatever. If someone in a family or someone that's higher up or older ends up touching a little girl, a little boy or whatever, 9 times out of 10, somebody says, well, just let it go.
You're talking about little boys and little girls. You're not talking about 18, 19, 20
well,
something year olds.
Okay. Let's take it to 18.
I feel like there's a big difference. 18. Go ahead.
But even still, right? Because same thing. I've been around athletes. I've been around celebrities. I've come from the entertainment industry on that side of things. I remember being at an event as a grown woman, because I sat on a board of a foundation where the people were athletes. And I remember being at a foundation event, and it was, the groupies and all of that. And then there was me. And there were some people who approached me, and I was just like, okay, Like, understand that I sit on the board, not some girl who's trying to be here around other people. Now, knowing the other people, you know, it's you have to be responsible enough to say, okay, I'm not going to put myself in a certain situation. But if you also trust a particular person, right, you then are like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to be around that person, and I'm not thinking they're going to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And so, you know, it's like people who say, oh, well, no, he was the nicest man, next door neighbor, and he killed somebody. And you're like, oh, I never thought he would do that. So it's your relationship with that person, which is what makes you believe whether you can or shouldn't do something. And unfortunately, people will then take advantage of that.
And there's this culture that we have of worshiping celebrities and thinking this man was in my living room every Thursday night when I was growing up. He must be safe because his public persona is he's the pudding guy. It's like totally he's in my kitchen, the TV. I'm safe with him no matter what I might have heard or
whatever.
Or
everybody likes to talk. That's what it is. People say, "Oh, everybody likes to talk." It doesn't. Don't worry about that. Oh, he wants to fly you out there. Oh, he's a multi-millionaire. He's got an empire. NBC gave him an empire. From even with the Cosby kids, early on in the 70s to the Cosby Show. After that, the Cosby Mysteries, and then CBS gave him a show. He developed shows for other people. Carsey Werner, which was the guys that were behind him, gave him an empire. Like they gave him an empire, and he ruled with the iron fist because his lawyers are the ones that put all these things in place for him to go run amok if he is in fact guilty. I mean, if you have more than 4 or 5 cases we're paying people out to keep this on the low, I mean, people are going to be like, well, hey, listen, I don't want to tarnish this man's name. I'm backing off.
I feel like you're right. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And unfortunately, when you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cases out there, that should be a red flag to any woman coming around this person.
But wait a second. Hold on. Let's look at the time frame. All these people, all this happened around the same time. We're talking about 70s. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it went dry, 80s, 90s. 97, he settled that lawsuit about fathering a love child. That's gone. But then in 2004, this woman said that this happened to me. So we're talking about a long time where it was dormant. Maybe he went and got help. Maybe he went and seeked out, psychological help.
But like you said, people like to talk. So it's hard for me to believe that through the grapevine, people weren't talking. Things can be kept under wraps. Things can be kept under wraps, but it's hard to believe. People like to talk. You said it. I feel like it's been out there. Like I said, I hung out with Michael Jordan several times in the presence. He's hit on girls that I know. Some of them said yes, some of them said no while he was married. Roger Clemens was out there doing a thing. I don't know. I feel like people. I feel like the word was out. People. I don't feel like this was. He paid to keep it underground, but I don't know. We're running out of time. We can talk about this all day. We did talk about it all day. I want to thank you guys for coming out so much. We had a great panel. We'll be back next week. Make sure you check us out on Verizon 45, Cablevision 76, and WPCommunitymedia.org. We'll see you real soon.